beautiful, beautiful day. Let me fix this, get it adjusted. Yes, it is raining. Rainy day here in DFW, but that's okay. We're gonna work with what we have. Let's see how this one works. So I jumped on, guys, to do a quick live. It is a rainy, stormy day here in DFW. Oftentimes, like if I'll get out, I'll go grab my coffee and whatnot, and sometimes I like to sit in quiet places in the neighborhood and just do videos. And today I wasn't even thinking about, jumping on here doing a video, but something crossed my mind. Like I was reading through some of the articles online and whatnot, and I saw this guy, Keith Lee. Everybody's crazy about this guy, Keith Lee, and his food reviews. And I check it out. And this dude is big, big, big for business. And what I realized is, wait a minute, because I was brought up thinking that, hey, look, in order to live like the life you want to live, there's got to be some hard work. And then I see this guy, Keith Lee, who's out moving around, traveling from city to city. And what is he doing? Tasting food and giving, food reviews that could potentially make or break your industry. By the way, I caught wind of like some I think, I guess here in Dallas, he left a food truck a tip. If you guys know what I'm talking about, and if you know the story, let me know in the comments. But I think it was here in Dallas, he left a food tip, like a big stupid tip for a food truck. But the owner of the food truck, the young lady, I don't know if she was older or younger, but she ended up, I think, keeping the tip and not sharing it with her crew, which is shady, shady, shady. And so, if I always say, whatever you do in life, always have integrity, because there's nothing more important than your character. Your character's got to be A1. Your character's got to speak for you. Your character is everything you got, right? So if people don't trust your character, they won't trust you. You're gonna have a hard time in life. Your word's not gonna mean anything. If your word doesn't mean anything to you, it's not gonna mean anything to anybody else. And because you might say or commit to something, and everyone knows that you're not going to follow through because your word means nothing to you. So I always say, look, have integrity in everything you do, whether you win or lose. I'm very competitive. I play basketball with the guys, but I just feel like, hey, I'd rather lose than to cheat you. I'm not going to cheat you. I got to go to sleep at night. I want to have a clean conscience. I don't want to do it that way. And and so apparently he gave money to this young lady, and she was supposed to disperse it to her staff, which would have been the right thing to do. And I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he told her exactly. I mean, why would he? How to disperse it, so it was up to her. But I think the problem was she completely reneged on giving anybody pretty much anything, and kind of left everybody out in limbo. To me, I feel like it would have been fair that for everyone who was staffed at that time, while he was there and while he left a tip, it would have been fair to give everybody the even amount, right? And then I think he left money for, like, I don't know, like close to $1,000 to feed the next few people in line. And I think like one of her workers got on there and said, hey, look, she said after the third person, it's time to charge again. Uh-oh. All right. So now we got an integrity problem, okay? Because all of this has been funded. The food's not free. It's all been paid for. The food is going to be free to the customer, but the company's been compensated, which is fine. But apparently it didn't work out that way, which was unfortunate. And now she's making the news for all the wrong reasons. And this brings me to another lesson that's really, really important. And it's not talked about enough, but it's really, really important. I learned this from somebody else, and now I'm going to share with you. When it comes to making money or making good decisions or making moves to change your life, most people, and by most, I know I'm not exaggerating, I bet you 90% of people, and the reason I say it is because 90% of people are struggling financially. So, because people are always like, well, the majority's doing. Don't do what the majority does. The majority is already in trouble. Don't follow. The majority can't afford a house. The majority don't have $1,000 in the bank account. The majority's paycheck to paycheck or very close. Don't do what the majority does. that should be, you should be able to observe that and go, oh yeah, I'm not doing what y'all do, right? There's too many people. The majority are the ones struggling. I'm gonna do what the minority does, the 10% does. And so the lesson is, focus on what comes back. Don't always focus on what goes out. This young lady chose to focus on what was going out. Okay, here we go. I'll walk you through it. And again, I didn't always know this. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't always know this. I just learned this a few years ago. Someone taught this to me, and it was a valuable lesson. And now I just share it with other people, right? My mentor taught me, and now I share it with you. I think I hurt my hand playing basketball yesterday. I'm feeling some pain. And beautiful day. I know you hear the rain and see the rain in the background, but I'm telling you, every day you wake up is a beautiful and blessed day. Don't let anybody tell you different. I don't care. It's a beautiful and blessed day. I love it. The sun might as well be out. There are people out there in hospital beds fighting for their lives. There are families with bad news while their children struggle, just to live to see another day. So I'm like the old song says, I won't complain. Look, this is beautiful. I love it. It's the good Lord's work, and it is what it is, and I'm thankful to be able to see it, right? And so again, so she should have dispersed it, but her focus, right? So $4,000, for instance, 4,000, let's just say 5,000 with the money he gave, because I think 4,000 the tip, and then I think 1,000, almost 1,000 went towards the food for the other people, which is a great gesture, right? And so all of a sudden, she's got about $5,000. Food's been paid for. She's good. All she's got to do is disperse it evenly. But she looked at the $5,000 and said to herself, I'm not letting go of this. This is the security. This is the reward. This is the win. So in her mind, the $4,000, and listen to this carefully, because this can apply all over your life. If you learn this lesson, it'll bless you and change your life. I guarantee it. So she thought about the $4,000 that would have been going out, or the $5,000 that would have been going out of her pocket into other people's pocket. That's where her focus was. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Her focus was not on the potential money that this dude's influence and a visit and a good rating would bring to her stand. She probably, and I'm just guessing, she probably would have made, and I'll keep the number simple just based on what he gave her. He gave her $5,000. She didn't want to let it go. She kept the $5,000. That was her reward. She did not think about tomorrow. She did not think about the future. How do I know this? Because she was willing to lose her staff over $5,000, and she did. And so she was closed. Now, here's the thing. If she would have been focused on what was coming in as opposed to what was going out, she would have made $5,000 every day. A week from then, she would have probably had $20,000 in her pocket from that experience. But because she did, and a lot of you focus, and I've done it too, so I'm not being a hypocrite, and I ain't just pointing the finger at you, even though I kind of am, pointing at me too, right? And I used to do this. This was a big mistake I made. I would never invest in myself, never put energy or money towards something that was probably going to benefit me, because I focused on what was going out and I did not focus on the return. So a lot of you might have a book in mind and you're like, hey, this book's $50. I don't want to spend $50 on the book, but you will go and spend $50 on a meal, on a movie, on some drinks, on a shirt that offers you no long-term gains. When you can say, nah, I'll skip the $50 shirt. I'll just get the $10 shirt. I'll make it work. And then I'll take the other $40. I'm going to go get this book. And then I'm going to read this book. And then I'm going to invest in myself by getting this book, reading this book. And then after I finish this book in a week or two, this book is going to make me a bunch of money or make me a better person or a better relationship, whatever the content's about. If you go through life focusing on what goes out and not focusing on what comes in, you will never reach financial freedom? Never. Because your eyes is always on the lack. It's always on what's leaving you. Now, I learned that lesson the hard way, and I was like, and I'll tell you, I'll give you a lesson on how I learned this lesson, right? So in 2017, I was homeless. I started a moving service, just helping people move boxes because I needed money. And then the moving service was growing a little and I was making a little money. And I remember one day, and I don't have the moving service now. Well, I do have it online. We just don't do any moving. We do middlemaning and brokering, right? So, but then I had the crew, I had a truck, equipment, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't living here in Dallas. I was living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And here's how I learned that lesson the hard way. So I had an option. So I had a job and I knew the job was probably going to make, gonna make, a few $100. And I was like, if I hire somebody, I got one guy, we only need two guys, but if I hire another guy, I'm going to have to give him about $100 to do the job. And then I'm going to lose $100 because I got to pay him. So I was thinking in my mind, let me save myself the $100 and do the job myself. So I'll get my guy, and instead of hiring another guy to help him, I'll be the second guy and I'll save $100. See, I'll save $100. That's what I was thinking. We went out there and we were doing the job. Now, when you're moving in Louisiana, it gets humid, it gets hot, you get sweaty, so you can't keep your phones. You know how those phones get, they malfunction when they get really hot and wet. And so, and humidity in South Louisiana is brutal. People always ask what humidity means. It just means if you get wet, you don't dry up. The air's moist. So if you're wet, right? If you're in dry heat, you're going to dry up. If you're in humidity, if you sweat, it's your sweat. You're going to keep it all day. And so that's all humidity means, is you're not going to dry off. So what happened is I'm out there and I'm moving, and then I see that I missed a call, right? So, cause I could hear the phone ringing, but I can't really answer cause I'm in the middle of a move. So I get a chance, I go to the phone, I pick it up. It's a customer called, left a voicemail. I answer the voicemail. Hey, I'm looking to get a 3-bedroom. I think she said a 3-bedroom move on this day at this time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bet. All right. So I'll try to call her back. She doesn't answer. It goes to voicemail. I'm like, hey, it's me. I was calling back to give you a quote. Give me a call back as soon as you can. I put the phone down. I go back to working. Phone rings again. I still can't get to it because you can't just go answer the phones while customers are around. So, but I can't keep the phone on me. So I miss it again. I go over and I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed it again. So I call her right back this time because she doesn't leave a voicemail. I call her right back. She picks up and I say, hey, this is such and such. I just missed your call. It was probably like 5 minutes ago. I just missed your call 5 minutes ago. But anyway, I know you were calling to get a quote. And she was like, honey, I'm so sorry. She was like, I just got a reservation with another company. And I was like, wait a minute, this lady called me twice. I missed both calls. And by the time I called her back, she already had a reservation. So I said, humor me if you don't mind. What did you have? And she was like, I had a 3-bedroom, blah, 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 going from here to here. Now, in my mind, a 3-bedroom, because I knew my numbers, a 3-bedroom at that time back in Louisiana would have made me about $800 minimum. $800 minimum. I could have paid that guy $100 and booked an $800 job. $800 was lost to save me $100. Does that make sense? I lost $100. I'm sorry, I lost $800 to save $100. That is brutal business practice. And I never forgot that lesson. Wait a minute. I lost money trying to save money, and then trying to save money, I lost more money. I lost an $800 job behind a $100 savings. You know why? Because I was focused on lack. I was focused on what was going out of my pocket. I was not focused on what was coming in. And because of that, I lost money. And I've seen people do it. I've seen people do it. I had a guy, excuse me, guys. I had one guy, he was trying to book a job again, back in Louisiana, he was trying to book a job, and I said, hey, look, this job's going to pay you about 600 bucks. And he called back. He was like, hey, I can't find a U-Haul. I can't find any rentals. The only U-Haul's about 30 miles away. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, if I go get it, I got to pay an extra $60. I was like, okay. And I was like, bro, you don't understand. You're telling me that you would let $60 keep you away from 600? I'd rather lose the 60 and keep the, by the time I knew the lesson. But in this guy's mind and in your minds and a lot of your minds, you're thinking the same thing, that you'd rather save the money and keep the money than to think about what could come back to you. So you're focused on what goes out. You're not focused on what's going in. You must always be focused on what comes back. Don't focus on lack. If you do that, it's going to keep you in a bad place. Focus on what comes back to you, right? If I put this out, if I plant this seed, here's the fruit I get to eat a year from now. And a lot of you struggle because you always focus, you always think you could hold on to what you have. I got money in the bank, but I know the money's dead. I know the money has no value. It has no value. A bank is where money goes to die. I could put 500,000 in the bank and it does nothing. All I can do is wake up, look at it on my phone, and know that I'm not using it and the bank is. All the money's doing is making the bank rich. It's not making me any money. I'm losing by leaving it in that parking lot or that graveyard. The banks want you to save money, but the banks don't save money. If they did, like you do, they would be out of business. So you need to think like the banks too. But yeah, again, with this Keith Lee guy, she focused on what was going out, not what was coming in. And she could have been 10 times that amount by now. But because her focus was on the money that was going out of her pocket and not the money that was going to come back to her pocket, she didn't even have staff to open the next day. Think about that. So for a lot of you, you have to focus on the what comes back, right? This guy's living his dream life, traveling around the country, probably be international very soon, traveling around the country, getting paid, eating food. Who wouldn't want to do that? Living his dream life, living in freedom, while you and everybody got to hustle off to work, put in 40 hours a week. You need every single hour so that you can pay your bills, struggle through life day by day, have to always think about what you want to eat, living the life you don't want to live instead of life you dream about, your dream life. And I encourage you to focus on getting your dream life. Focus on living the life you want to live, not the life you have to live. Time's going to go by. Money that you have in a bank account is going to leave you. Life's going to take that away from you. It's just the way it is. You cannot, if you want to live the life that you see, like this guy, like Keith Lee, I envy it, because this guy is able to travel, enjoy life, be free, make money, help people. Come on. So I know you want to be in a position where you can do things like that. Leave big tips, help people, love on people, use the money to love the people. Right? But because you focus on what goes out of your pocket, you never invest in yourself. Never. You're too terrified. You don't think about what's coming in. That's why poor people are poor people. Because every time they get something, they either save it or spend it. They never plant the seed. You know why? Because it takes time to get the money back or to see a return. And in this microwavable society, nobody wants to wait 30 days. Nobody wants to wait 2 to 3 years. Nobody. They want to see it. I got to see it now. And you don't realize you're in a cycle of being poor. You're just going to repeat this process again. You're just going to repeat this process again next year. And the year after that, because you're not changing anything. You keep doing the same thing and thinking something's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Right? So if you want to live the Keith Lee life, which is not necessarily, you got to be a food critic, but you're living a life of freedom. You're making good money. You're doing the things you want to do in life. You're enjoying life. Right? Time is everything. Time ain't money. Money is time. I guarantee that. And so if you want to live like that, you want to be free and you want to have your best life, your blessed life, instead of your less life and stress life, then you've got to invest in something that's going to change your tomorrow. Most of you are too afraid to make the move. You talk about the life you want to do, but when the opportunity comes for you to change your life, you vacate, you get paralyzed, you freeze up, you create all these excuses because you're only lying to you. I have people message me all the time and they're like, hey man, I'm going to get this class. I'm ready to change my life. And I'm like, bet, go get in the class. And they don't make the move, right? And then all of a sudden, there they are repeating the process of struggle life. And I'm going, hey, a month ago, you could have changed your life. A month ago, your life could have been on a different path, different trajectory. But you didn't make the move because you're so comfortable in discomfort. You're so comfortable in this place where you know your surroundings, you know the struggle life. You become, some of you, the struggle life is your comfort zone. And that ain't cute. You're in the struggle life and it's your comfort zone, and you are terrified of changing anything, not knowing that, hey, wherever you are, life's going to change that for you. Life's going to disrupt that for you. So instead of waiting for life to shake you up, why don't you make a move, go out there, get a book, get a class, get some coaching, get some training, start a business, use your phone, try to make money. So a year from now, your life doesn't look the same. A year from now, you're not renting apartments or renting townhomes. You're looking at a home. You're looking at your house going, hey, I started a business, it's making money. I want to do some good things for my family. If I would not have invested in myself, started reading books, coaching, mentorship, taking courses, and learning from other people, I would still be in the fight. There's no way I could live in this neighborhood. No way. If I wouldn't have taken the initiative to change my life. No way. No way my wife and I could be walking in, you guys can't see it, but walking in $1.8 million homes, looking at these homes and looking at them and saying, hey, I like this, I like that. You know, this is something I can see myself living in, right? There's no way we would be able to do that if we didn't make decisions to improve our life by going out on a limb, taking risks, trying to get better qualified, getting coaching, changing the way we think, reading books. I just went and spent $30, $40 on a book. How many of you would invest $40 on just a book? It's rhetorical, but you know the answer. If I go out and I buy a course that's $2,500 just to change my life, how many of you would spend $1,000 on a course that could change your life? You're not going to look at your future. You're going to look at your right now and say, man, I could drop $1,000 on this course, but I don't want to lose my $1,000. I need that. And then you don't realize life's going to come and take the $1,000 anyway. And then I'm going to double back and say, hey, you still got that 1,000 so you can change your life? No, I used it up. Oh, damn. Then you got to repeat the struggle. Off you go. See, somebody agree. I got a thumbs up. Somebody know what I'm talking about. And I'm just keeping it real. Nothing's going to change until you change. Nothing's going to change until you change. You keep waking up to the Truman Show, the same, excuse me. I'm going to have to wrap this up. My wife's calling. But you keep waking up to the same life over and over again, and you won't take the initiative to change your life. You won't invest in yourself. You won't do these things. Keith Lee worked his butt off to get where he is. I never look at the dude and say, man, he's getting paid to do this. I never look at that. I go, man, that dude committed to something, changed his life, and now it's paying off. He's probably been reviewing foods for years before you even knew him. Right? He put in that work. He was willing to put in that work, knew that the success doesn't always come overnight, and he probably didn't even do it to do what he's doing now. He probably just kind of fell into that lane, but the guy's blessed, and then the guy's able to bless others. Most of you can't even bless yourself, right? I've been in that situation where life is hard, man. You can't even bless yourself. I'm telling you, that's struggle life. I don't know if you know it or not, but that's the struggle, right? That's why I created this channel, to change the way you think about money, change the way you think about finances, and say, hey, let me show you what I do for a living. And if you like what I do, I'll teach you. If you don't want to do it, fine, do something else. But don't stay in that comfort zone. Get out of it. Disrupt it. Get out and seek discomfort. Go after it. Man, I like where I am. I'm in a cool spot. I can survive. Get out of that. Get out of that mindset. It's going to destroy your life. You're going to leave this world having accomplished anything that you were capable of. That's the worst way you could die. Knowing that, man, I had all this equipment to make me successful in life, and I didn't use any of it because it all forced me to get out of my comfort zone. I just wouldn't give that up. I got people close to me right now, and all I do is say, hey, you got to leave that comfort. But Shon, I got this in line. I got this in place. Leave the comfort zone. It's you got to sacrifice. You're not willing to sacrifice. Sacrifice for a year, for 2 years. And then you're going to look back. You're going to be here 80 years. You can't give up 2 years to have the life you want. Oh my gosh. You don't really want anything. You just want to talk about wanting anything. You're not serious. You'll never be walking through $1 million homes, $1 million neighborhoods going, okay, I like this. We can afford it. What are the numbers looking like? We might want to get this. Never. You'll be apartment shopping and townhouse shopping all your life, looking at the rent going, man, that's a little too high. And being in the struggle life, when God gave you all these tools, equipped you to come to this world, gave you a bag of tools and supplies and said, hey, if you work this thing, it's going to take care of you and make you wealthy. Right? And then you don't do anything. Well, God don't want me to be rich. Don't say that. The Bible talks about rich people all throughout the Bible, and they're all God's people. Only time it doesn't talk about God's people having wealth is when Pharaoh is giving his wealth, transferring his wealth to Egypt. Right? God told you Abraham was rich, told you how rich he was, told you how he was rich. There's wealth there's gold in the Garden of Eden before Adam and Eve are even there. Why would God put riches in the garden and they're not even there? Why would God put gold in heaven? There's no stores and no shopping. God has no problem with you being rich. In fact, there's a scripture that says this. It says a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That is generational wealth. Your children's children, that's a generation. And it says that's not a bad man. It says that's a good man. God has no problem with you being wealthy. That's why he gave you tools. He gave me tools to be able to get on here and talk and be comfortable. To be able to teach people how to make money using only their cell phone. Right? And I'll just do it look, if you want to learn this, jump on. If you don't want to learn this, fine, continue with your life. I'm just trying to bless you and show you something different so you can try to make some money. But Keith Lee's living his best life. Are you? Are you living your best life? Or is it your stress life? Are you still struggling every day, wake up to it, and you're comfortable with it? You've got a problem. You've got to break out of this comfort and go after, hunt down discomfort. And I promise you to change your life. It's gonna feel rough. When you start working out, you start hitting those weights. It's tough at first, but eventually it gets a little easier and the results start to come, right? You want to be results driven? Go get something done. You want to change your life? Stop relying on your paycheck as your only source of income. You can't do that. You're too close to losing everything. They take that job away, you're starting from zero. Don't do that. Don't be paycheck dependent. Don't go buy a house or a car with your paycheck. That's prison. Voluntary. 5-10 years. Go look at my video. The last one I did. So if you want to remain in your comfort zone, fine, do it. I have no problem with it. But if you want to change your life, get the best life you can, I'll do my best to teach you what I know so that you can live in the best neighborhood. Your kids have the best friends. Listen, when I grew up, my network today, the people I grew up with, prison, criminals, not making a bunch of money, poor, struggle life, rappers, all this other stuff. My son is going to grow up in a neighborhood. He's only 3, but he's going to grow up in a neighborhood where his network is going to be doctors, lawyers, politicians, surgeons, dentists, all that. So if you don't think money makes a difference, I'll just prove to you that it does. So go get more money so you can go get a better life. And a lot of times that's going to cause you to have to get out of your comfort zone to do something different. You can't wake up every morning going, well, Lord, I hope you pay my bills this month, and I hope some things happen and some things work out where I can have it. God doesn't work that way. He doesn't just give you things. He gives you the ability to go get the things. Does that make sense? God don't just give you things. If he did, we'd all have what we want. But he doesn't do that. He makes you put the work in. It doesn't always have to be hard work, but he gives you the tools to get the wealth that you desire. God says, look, there's gold and there's gold in this river or whatever, right? And so God gives you the tools to walk down to the river and get the gold, but you don't do it because that's uncomfortable for you. You won't invest in yourself because spending a few $100s hurts you because you're looking at what goes out. You don't sit there going, man, if I spend this few $100s and I learn this, whoo, man, my life's never going to be the same. I'll make $1,000 just like that. You don't think that way. You just like that lady in that food truck. Think about what's going out. The 4,000 going out, not thinking about the 40,000 coming in. Isn't that sad? Her focus was on the out and not the in. Always be focused on what comes in. If you can afford the investment, put the seed in the ground, invest in it. Let the reward come back to you. I promise you, if it's the right thing, it'll 10x. But you guys go out and buy stuff that's worthless, call it assets, and lose money. You'll spend money. I've seen people spend $250 on a pair of Jordans, tennis shoes, and don't have life insurance for their families. Jeez, come on now. Anyway, I gotta go. I've kind of vented enough. Thank y'all for tuning in. If I'll say this, look, invest in yourself, change your life. If you want to learn what I do by starting a middleman business using your phone, I'll put the link in the comments below. I'm doing a live training coming up Thursday, a live Zoom training, and I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to do this so that you can use your phone and get paid. If you want to be in the live training, drop the word Zoom in the comments and you'll get the free invite because everybody's not coming. I don't need everybody there. I only need the people who wants to change their lives and who are willing to put in the work to do so and willing to invest in themselves. People that can focus on what's coming in, not what's going out. Poor people, ask them, go talk to them. And if it's you, you know. Your focus is always on what goes out of your pocket. You never think about what comes in. You never think about potentially what this thing can do for me. She thought about the 4,000 she was losing, not the 40,000 she could gain. And she lost all of it. So if you want to get the free Zoom link for the training, go ahead, write the word Zoom in the comments. I'm going to get the link to you. I'm going to teach you how to build your own business Thursday night, 7 p.m. Texas time. And I'm going to bless your socks off and change your life. But you got to be there, and it's up to you. I can't force you to be there. It's your call. So put the word Zoom in the link. I'll get the information out to you. And you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video. Invest in yourself. I promise you, it'll pay off. Hit subscribe, hit the